Let's take a look at your syllabus. Your syllabus can be found linked on the website, and you can pull it up and print it out so that you have a hard copy of everything that we're going to discuss in this section. It will also be a handy guide for what your readings are going to be next and when your tests are going to be throughout the course. This is what your syllabus looks like right now. The front page has the name of your course, the course description, and a section that says Welcome. Let's go through all of the sections together. What is this class about? Well, it's an introduction to the principles and political processes of the national, state, and local government, with an emphasis on the national government and the Constitution. Here is the textbook that we'll be using. It's called Keeping the Republic, Power and Citizenship in American Politics. We will be using the 5th brief edition, although I believe the bookstore is selling the 4th brief edition. That edition is fine too, whichever one you find. You can purchase the textbook either through the website of your choice or through the Laney College bookstore, whichever way you find it cheapest. Next on the syllabus, you'll see a list of student learning outcomes. What student learning outcomes, or SLOs, are Laney College and the rest of the Peralta Family College's way of making sure that instructors teach the same material for different classes. You may have several different instructors teaching Political Science 1, for example, and so we want to make sure that Political Science 1 students are learning the same material, even though they're learning it from different instructors, across the curriculum. Upon successful completion of this course, you'll be able to do the following things: identify historical events and political compromises that facilitated the creation of the U.S. Constitution and federal government, explain the roles of the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, identify the interactive relationships among the branches of the U.S. government as well as their respective checks and balances, explain and analyze the varied examples of discrimination against diverse groups throughout the history of the U.S. politics and the emerging impact that these groups have on the political system, and describe and evaluate the function of interest groups and political parties. Now, if none of this makes any sense to you right now, then you're in the right place, because this is what you're supposed to be able to understand by the end of the course. So if really a lot of this has left you shaking your head and scratching your nose, then you're probably right where about you should be. Now, how will you be graded in this class? This class has 3 different types of assignments, if you can call them assignments. There are 3 tests. They are 20 points each. There's a current event posting. There should be no S at the end of that. It's current event posting. And there's a final exam. Together they make up 100 points. The grading scale is pretty simple. 90 and above is A, and for 10 points down each, you get your consecutive grade level. And before you start snickering when I tell you that everyone is going to start out with an A, understand that working toward your A is completely possible in this class, and everyone in the class has a very real possibility of leaving with an A or an A+ at the end of the semester. So let's talk about these 3 tests. They'll be offered throughout the semester on the website. They're all timed multiple choice tests, which means that on the day of the actual test, you'll log into the website and you will start the test anytime you like. As long as you finish the test before 11:59 on that day, according to the system's clock, then you're okay. And the multiple choice answers will be submitted through the website to me, and I'll be able to grade them and submit them back. The current events posting is the one real assignment that you have in this class. And what it is it's a write-up of some current event that's happened that relates somehow to our class topics. So what you need to do is surf on the web, go to your favorite news site, or maybe a website that you don't normally use for news very often, and find an interesting story that has to do with something about American government. Now that may be a little bit more difficult to do right now before you've taken the class, but as you go through, you'll start to realize that as we're studying the legislature, as we're studying Congress, as we're studying the presidency, there are so many things in the news every day which pop up, and you'll start to see that everything in the news somehow or another relates to the class. And so all you have to do is pick a story that you like, PDF it so that the other folks online can read it, and then submit your analysis and a summary so that everyone can understand how this relates to the class. So you're going to PDF, You're going to write a half a page of summary about what that story was about, and then you're going to write a page of analysis, which is demonstrating how the real-world events that you've just read about relate to what we're studying in class. By the way, there's going to be ample space for you to post these on the website in the forums, and for you to read everybody else's postings and be able to comment on them after reading through the stories that they've posted. Extra points may be available for outstanding participation in the class forums and really showing that you're engaging with your classmates in their current event postings. So let's take a look at the course outline. The course outline on your syllabus is where you're going to find the different things that you're supposed to read. So as you can see, the way that this particular course is broken down is into 3 sections. The first section is called Founding a Political Nation, and we're going to be working with the section between weeks 2 and 6. And you'll see right underneath the first topic that we're dealing with, there is right underneath the underline, Chapter 1, Power and Citizenship in American Politics. Well, that's the chapter of the book that you are to read for this particular section. You'll also see Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 in this same area as different parts that you're supposed to read. Now, what does this mean that you're seeing 3 different chapters and 4 different sections within this one time period between weeks 2 and 6? What that means is that you really have the freedom to take this course at a pace which is comfortable to you. If you would like to deal with each of these subjects as they come up week after week, you are free to do so. However, if you would like to view all of the videos and lectures at once and do all of your course cramming, and that's the way that you prefer to study, then that is also completely up to you. The goal is to have all of the work completed, the readings, and the lecture videos which will be online before October 2nd, which as you can see will be test number 1. If there is no reading that's listed underneath one of the underlined headlines, that means that there's no reading that you have to do for that particular section, and you should just look for the lecture video for instruction on that particular topic.